I'm Stephen Barnes, co-founder of the Hong Kong Visa Centre. 5 years ago, after trying to upkeep a forever failing business, I almost became bankrupt. So, out of necessity, in 2011, I set out to change the way I do business. I really needed to. I was going under. The journey I travelled in the last 5 years has been a revelation. You see, against all the odds and starting with nothing, by 2017 we've created the conditions for a monopoly in our space, Hong Kong immigration. Make no mistake, we have significant and very well resourced competitors, but by being nimble-footed, standing out and doing things differently, a monopoly awaits us in our service niche. And by focusing on a single competency and learning how the internet really works, we began to lay the foundations of the Hong Kong Visa Centre business and inadvertently created the genesis of a monopoly in our niche. And you can too in yours. In my next video, I will urge you to do the thinking to make it happen. The first step in building any monopoly is to seriously do the thinking. I found myself inspiration and guidance in the writings of various people in building my monopoly. I took inspiration from the words and wisdom of my intellectual heroes, Don Tapscott, Seth Godin, Kevin Kelly and Charlie Munger, some of which I'll share with you later. My business partner and I analysed the competition in the Hong Kong immigration marketplace. There were two major competitors in the market. One was a company I'd been a founding partner in, while the other was the world's largest immigration practice for whom I had previously worked. So, I knew their strengths and their weaknesses. I also knew the market was split between two service sectors, 15% in the individual services sector and 85% in the corporate services sector. And from my experience, I knew that the first 15% consisted of people having problems that no one else was properly addressing. So we decided to re-enter the market in the individual services sector first, where we would be competing against non-consumption. Our aim would be to produce high quality content giving people answers to their questions and help solving their problems, all for free. Sounds crazy, right? Well, soon you'll find out that it's not just as crazy as it sounds. In business, we'll always have competition, and choosing to be different is the only way to stand out above the rest of the market. When we began setting up the Hong Kong Visa Centre, we had two basic principles in mind. These were two principles put forward by the great Charlie Munger. The first of Munger's principle was that to be successful, you have to do one thing, and if you can do it better than everybody else, success is guaranteed. The second was to apply the golden rule to all of your relationships. This is to treat other people in the same way you would wish to be treated yourself. These were our foundation stones when setting up the Hong Kong Visa Centre. Next, we drew on the marketing genius of Seth Godin, who says, to get people's attention these days, you must be remarkable, be outstanding. So, we decided it would certainly be extraordinary to give away all of our intellectual property for free to anyone who wanted it. That's 20 odd years of accumulated Hong Kong immigration knowledge and know-how. So we used our experience and knowledge to imagine every possible question, problem, scenario and idea that could arise within our niche of Hong Kong immigration. And we wrote it down, creating the Hong Kong Visa Handbook. No one else was doing that. But my philosophy is, if information is going to be free, you may as well own free. Once we decided to give our information away for free, we then had to decide how best to go about doing it. We needed to build a platform in order for anyone to access our information easily at any time on demand. We reached out for the free open source content management system called WordPress. Now you have to realise that at some point the mighty Google is going to be sifting its way through your material looking for the best stuff to guide people to. So you have to make sure your taxonomy is right. It's vital that you get this nailed so that the search engines know exactly what you offer. WordPress enables you to do this. We've learned that in today's connection economy, you have to be generous. Consequently, our websites invite people to engage with our materials, to reach out and ask questions which we answer via our blogs. We've come to understand the common experiences and tasks involved in our niche, so we publish online do-it-yourself kits for free. By giving away all our experience and know-how for free, we create close relationships and generate goodwill. The next step in building a monopoly can be expressed in just a few words. Nevertheless, it's vitally important. You must be totally transparent. My story is on our website for everyone to know. As an immigration advisor, people are opening up all their personal details to me and pretty much putting their future lives in my hands. So I believe I have an obligation to reciprocate the trust that they place in me. To create and maintain effective relationships, you have to be transparent. You must tell people your own personal story. Show them that you're authentic and trustworthy. And above all, let them see that you're vulnerable, just like they are, just like we all are. I learned very quickly from the beginning that most of what you hear about search engine optimization doesn't apply to many businesses. It's mainly a bunch of propeller heads attempting to outfox Google. This is okay for a few niches, but it's futile for mine, and especially for professional services. So, when building our business model, we use WordPress to mount the platform for our core content site, the Hong Kong Visa Handbook, and our daily content update site, Hong Kong Visa Geezer, and the Hong Kong Visa Centre. We sell nothing on the first two sites. Instead, we publish content in straightforward language, providing answers and solutions to problems, which leads to the third, where we have conversations, form relationships, and offer our professional service. It's a simple strategy. Make your material widely and freely available to those interested in your niche by anticipating all their questions that could be asked about it, answer them, and cultivate relationships. In the end, all roads lead to Rome. In order to sell something, you need to know what you're selling. Obvious? Well, it's essential for you to leverage your platform and disrupt your marketplace, and you need to find a way to sell stuff that your competitors can't. We knew from experience that the traditional way of selling immigration services is through fear. You say to clients, I've got this knowledge and know-how, and if you don't pay me, you probably won't get your visa. And then what are you going to do? Now, you don't have to read Robert Cialdini's Secrets of the Science of Persuasion to know that fear is a terrible basis for any relationship. But if you do read him, you'll learn how to harness the psychological hardwiring that we've all evolved. You see, we realised that what we were selling was peace of mind. By giving away all of our knowledge and know-how to people who need it, by being open and transparent, we've engendered our authority and we've established their trust. Also, because of the relationships we build with people, we know enough about them to only take on those applications that we genuinely think will succeed. So, in that regard, we can offer a 200% money-back guarantee, and people employ our services because they're buying peace of mind. not a visa label in a passport. A few years ago, I found myself aboard a ship on a 4-day Disney cruise in the Caribbean with my family. I was astonished by the customer service experience that Disney provided. It was no Mickey Mouse affair, it was absolutely second to none. And it made me realise that if you're in control of a particular environment, as the Disney Corporation were on that ship, then you can lay out a complete experience for people. If you understand what sort of experience is going to resonate with your audience, and then you deliver a customer service experience encompassing it, you basically have achieved total market alignment. By understanding our potential clients, by understanding all the potential scenarios they'll face during the immigration process, and by answering all their questions, solving all their problems for free, we're providing an unrivaled customer service experience, an absolutely essential step towards building a monopoly. While it's vitally important to propagate your online proposition, it's just as vital to take your offline proposition as far as you can into the wider world. Seth Godin calls this unleashing the idea virus. My idea virus was born about 15 years ago. Once a month I'd go on RTHK, the public radio broadcaster in Hong Kong, to take calls, answer questions and generally talk about immigration issues. The host, Phil Whelan, took to announcing me as Stephen Barnes, the Hong Kong Visa Geezer. I thought, that's good, that's catchy, that's something people will really remember. Which is important because immigration isn't a live idea in most people's minds every day. But when the issue does crop up, it's crucial. And if the first thing that pops into their heads is the Visa Geezer, that'll be the first thing they search for online. From that, you can build what Seth Godin calls a tribe. Combine the two and you have a tridea virus with which to build your monopoly. Our tribe is currently 150,000 strong and growing. By now, I'm sure you're asking, so have you built your monopoly yet? Well, it's no secret, not yet, although we're very nearly there. We already enjoy a monopoly on content in the immigration niche and have a 50% market share on one type of visa. But as Peter Thiel says in his book 0 to 1, you need to have a secret. We continuously follow a checklist derived from Thiel's book as follows. 1. Do we have an engineering advantage? Yes. In my losing years, I learned how to convert Microsoft Outlook into a sort of electronic file of facts. This gave me insights into how others organise their backends, and so how to organise ours. 2. Was the time right? Yes, because I was broke, but also because our competitors were still doing the same old thing, so the opportunity to disrupt the market was ripe. 3. Were we starting with a small share of a big market? Yes, and we were competing against non-consumption. 4. Do we have the right team? Yes, my business partner of nearly 20 years and I can read each other's minds by now. We recruit the right people and we treat them with respect. We follow the golden rule, so they like working for us. 5. Is your distribution organised? Yes, we nailed that from the get-go through our business model by design. 6. Will our position be defensible in 10 to 20 years from now? Yes, absolutely. Because we publish 4 or 5 times a week, and the more we publish, the more difficult it is for our competitors to steal our thunder. We've made $3 million in the first 5 years and built a tribe of 150,000 strong. All because of this, we found our secrets. Lots of them. If you follow this approach in your niche using your experience, you'll develop secrets that give you an angle that your competitors don't have. There are lots of secrets out there. You need to do the thinking and find them.